I did a video on how to stop taking things personally, and you can click on that link to watch that video. But this is going to be more specific into the way in which you stop taking things personally. Now, in my other video, I spoke about how you have to cut through the emotion of what someone says and how they're saying it and get to the needs that they have. Because each of us has needs and each of us have emotions. And the thing is, it's the emotion that tends to come out first because we feel very passionate about what we want or what we feel we need. And it's surfaced by this layer of emotion. And most people tend to get stuck within that layer of emotion and they don't take the time and have the patience and have the empathy to see past that emotion to what the need is. And so a lot of the times, a lot of conflict happens because we take things personally when the underlying need was not for us to take things personally, but in fact for us to do the opposite, to put ourselves aside and listen to what that person needed. So if you're able to communicate what you need, even if you're feeling emotional about it, and you can practice how to communicate that, then that's going to help you to avoid potentially having conflicts where someone says, why did you say that to me? You know, who do you think you're talking to? All of these kind of conversations, which can be very frustrating when you have a specific message that you want to get across. I'm just going to really focus and emphasize on the importance of questioning things. I've been taught from my university days about the importance of questioning everything, like question everything. Don't just accept things for what it is. You know, you look at the research behind it, the backup, what other strategies there are, and you've got to find really what works for you. But questioning really helps in these cases where if someone's saying something to you and you find that you're feeling quite resentful towards them, you're feeling quite bitter, your ego is getting bruised, it's very easy for us to feel that pain and then respond from that place of pain, rather than to feel the pain, sit with the pain, and find out what is my true expression. Because I have these emotions that have been triggered by this pain, by what this person said, and I want to respond with anger, resentment. I want to tell them off. I want to shout at them. This is what I want to do, but that is not going to solve the problem. That's not going to solve this conflict. It's only going to fuel the conflict. And it might be a good way for me to release my emotions, but then it's not really going to solve the problem. The problem is underneath the conflict I'm experiencing. It's underneath that resentment, that bitterness. And you've got to question not only why did I feel that way, why was I triggered in that way, but what is their intention? What are they trying to tell me? Are they really intentionally trying to batter my ego and bruise me? Or is that what I think they're trying to do? And there's a difference. If I think they're trying to do something, I am acting on a place of assumption. I'm not really concretely sure that's what they want because I just didn't simply ask, what is it you really are trying to say? And so this is where a lot of people fall short when it comes to that kind of conflicts management. And most of us aren't really subject to that kind of attack on a daily basis. Of course, I've had clients where they have been subject to that attack. They've been very, very abusive relationships. And there is that difference between someone who's just communicating from a place of emotion but has good intentions versus someone who is intentionally trying to manipulate someone else through abuse. And so there is that big distinction. However, for the most part, if someone disagrees with you, just ask, okay, are they against me? I mean, they might disagree with me, but does that mean they hate me, that they dislike me, that they're against me? Or perhaps another way to frame it is if someone disagrees with me, maybe it means we're on the same page because they clearly care enough about this subject and they have their own opinions that they want to express what their opinion is of this subject, of this argument. And they're coming from the other side of that argument and telling me what they're talking about. They are equally as interested as me, even though they're disagreeing with me. And it gives me an opportunity to really challenge my own thoughts and opinions on this. Like, is what they're saying right? Is there any truth to what they're saying? So you can see the shift immediately. I'm coming now from a place of quite inquisitive, curious conversation where I'm curious as to where they're coming from. And because of that curiosity, I'm no longer really bothered by the emotion. I might be feeling the emotion, but because of the questions I'm asking myself, I'm now more curious than anything and I want to find out more. Now I'm asking them questions, you know, and this is where people can be guided by their feelings too much. Now, our emotions serve a purpose. They mobilize us into action. They're important, but we can very easily abuse that. And how many times have you overthought something? How many times have you felt anxious when you're looking around and there's nothing to feel anxious for? How many times have you planned too much and really you planned ahead to an event that hadn't happened and you've wasted all of that energy and stress when that thing you thought was going to happen didn't? We can really play to our thoughts a lot and we can get stuck in our thoughts a lot and we can really let our feelings drive us forward. And so while emotions are important and while thoughts are important, you need to balance it with the reality and you need to balance it by grounding yourself, by regulating your emotions so that they don't dictate how you behave, but rather you use them to your advantage when you need to. This is what essentially emotional regulation is. And so by asking those questions, could they be right? Do I absolutely know that I'm right here just because I feel maybe that I am right, or maybe I feel that they've attacked me and I feel a bit resentful? Those feelings are going to make me think, no, I'm definitely right. They're wrong. How could they say that to me? But this is where the emotion can start clouding what's really happening. Ask yourself, if I felt like this person's attacked me and I've thereby taken it personally, if I react in the way I want to, in the way that my emotions are telling me to, which is just to fight back, is that going to resolve the problem? Or is it merely going to offer me relief? And sometimes we need relief. We need relief from the emotions we experience. And this is why you can have strategies within yourself to regulate your emotions. That's what it's all about. Because our emotions can be built up like a pressure cooker and we need an outlet to release them. Now, it depends how you release them. You can release them in conflict, which oftentimes results in more pressure being added because it just escalates that conflict and that conflict escalates the emotion. Or there's ways to, like I said, question things, take a different perspective, take a different path, maybe take a break from that conversation, step away if you're feeling particularly triggered. And there's a good chance if you're feeling triggered, the other person's also feeling triggered. And if they're not showing that emotion, again, ask yourself, wow, you were as triggered as me, but you hadn't shown it. Why? Why was that the case? What perspective are you coming from here? So question yourself, question the other person, and explore your capacity to grow, explore your capacity to develop, and go beyond that surface level of not taking things personally and go deeper into what are they trying to communicate? What am I trying to communicate? Because my emotions feel quite, resentful. I'm feeling quite bitter. But what is it I really want to communicate to this person? Or what is it I really need right now? And vice versa. And once you start to think about those questions and operate from that deeper space underneath the emotion, it's not like you're dismissing your emotion. You are staying with the emotion, but you're trying to access the deeper answers and needs that will satisfy that relationship and that will satisfy you in the longer run. Thank you for watching.